Now, when you see the title of this video, you're probably thinking, this guy does not like the Conjuring movies? Whoa, that's not necessarily true. I think Conjuring 1 slaps. Conjuring 2 slaps real hard. Annabelle Creation, it's like an ice cold soda pop on a summer's day. Conjuring 3, it was decent. But all the other movies to me range from kind of forgettable to straight up bad. So overall, I feel pretty mixed on the franchise. It reaches some Snoop Dogg level highs and some John Bellion type lows. While I do enjoy some of these films, I don't think it works as well as a cinematic universe, and I think it never really had the chance to. Straight from the get-go, right out the gate, the universe never really stood a chance, and here's why. Don't get me wrong, I love the Warrens. Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, they are some of the best parts of these movies, and every time I see them on screen, I'm like, heck yeah. The only time I've ever been mad at them is when they pulled this stunt on me in Annabelle Comes Home. Hey, psst, hey kid. Huh, what? Yeah, hey kid, do you like the Warrens? Warren Peace from Sky High? Nah, the Warrens from the Conjuring movies. Oh yeah, sure do, mister. And you should come check out Annabelle Comes Home. It's got the Warrens, my guy. It's got the Annabelle, my guy. It's got the Comes Home, my guy. That does sound pretty sick.
3 days later.
So since I love the Warrens more than the alternate ending of How I Met Your Mother, you're probably wondering, why am I bringing them up? And it's because as much as I enjoy them, I hate to say that I think they're not really helping the universe. So let's talk about the MCU, right? The gold standard, the big daddy of cinematic universes. In the MCU, we got super strong personalities for our heroes, right? Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Baby Groot. In these movies, there's always some enjoyment in watching these characters overcome challenges that just get harder and harder. The stakes are that they might not survive the next movie, and comic book resurrection jokes aside, sometimes they don't. So this brings me to my main problem with the Warrens and how they vastly differ from the MCU heroes. Unlike Tony and Cap, the Warrens are real. I know the Warrens we see in the movies aren't carbon copy, factual versions of the real humans, but the movies do lean into the fact that these events really did happen. So when I was watching Conjuring 3, I was going, holy smokes, man, I wonder if the Warrens are going to survive this. And then I went, wait a second, I know that they survive. I've seen pictures of them both at a much older age where they don't look like Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. At this point, my friends, there's no stakes. We know they live. We know they win. It's not good for the universe. So all my Conjuring verse fans are probably going, stupid J Films, you idiot. Go jump off of a moderately tall building because we don't want any harm. The movies are connected by the villains, not the Warrens, you big goofball. And to all those people, I say, that's exactly the problem. When I finished watching The Conjuring 3, one of my friends went, the villain in that movie sucked. Nowhere near as good as Big Mama D from Resident Evil 8. This brings me to my next point. The villains in Resident Evil sort of carry the games, especially as of late. Like when you think about Resident Evil 7, you can't tell me you think of Ethan and Mia. No, you think of the Baker family. Papa Baker, Mama Baker, Brother Baker. I bring this up to say that the problem with the universe is that the villains connect it, but they're not really the main characters. In Resident Evil, we don't actually see who we play as that much. I guess we see his hands, but we see the villains a lot. We're given plenty of time to see them as characters and actually grow. Annabelle and all the other demon bad guys, though, they're not going to get a lot of screen time. They don't really talk. Overall, they'll probably get about 10 to 15 minutes of screen time. The heroes we get can sometimes be enjoyable, but we all know that A, they're gonna be killed, or B, just replaced in the next movies. The protagonists are never given time to grow and be fleshed out because they're just there to die. And we know that even if they survive, we'll probably never see them again. It'd be like if in the MCU, the movies were just connected by Happy Hogan, Ned, and T.I. It just wouldn't work. Look, I didn't expect a really good director like James Wan to stick around the universe forever, and I'm glad that he's getting bigger opportunities like directing Aquaman. The problem is, though, that without James Wan, there's no real consistency in the universe, no Feige-like being watching over the whole universe. Because of this, there's no real goal for the universe. In the MCU, we built to Infinity War and Endgame. In the DCEU, we built to Justice League. And even in the Monsterverse, we built to Godzilla vs. Kong. In the Conjuring verse, though, there's no real end in sight. There's no reason for it to be a cinematic universe in the first place. Instead, we just get little references here and there, and of course, the rare reoccurring characters But that's pretty much it. Like, this is literally their plan right now. This is what they do. They throw a bunch of different demons on screen until people go, oh man, that nun was pretty scary. Bam, nun movie. Oh, the crooked man, the guy that was in that one little scene right there, he was pretty creepy. Bam, movie. I can already predict that if there's no big change in the universe, they're just going to keep doing this formula forever. I don't really blame them because I'm sure it makes a ton of money, but it stinks there's no creative vision for the whole universe as a whole. I'm not saying the movies are all bad either, because I thought Conjuring 3 was decent, but it would be really cool if we could settle on a time period and just bring in a bunch of other heroes to work with the Warrens on stopping possessions for good, or I don't know, maybe finally destroying Annabelle. Give us a moment that goes, wow, this is cool. A special moment that only cinematic universes can offer. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. And while I'll always show up to the theaters to see the Warrens take on the next villain, or more appropriately, beat the next villain, it stinks these movies can't be more than the standard horror movies they've kind of become. But when you think about creative horror movies now, I think of Hereditary, I think of like The Lighthouse and The Witch, and movies like that, Midsummer. Not really these movies, because those ones are pushing the boundaries. I hope it changes, but I'm not sure. That's my TED Talk.